Hey everybody, Bryan here on a very chilly Friday afternoon. It is Halloween. If that's your thing, well, more power to you. It's not really my holiday. You'd think it would be, considering my job and how often I spend time with kids and everything, but honestly, I just don't get into the holiday. In fact, it's been a long time since I have. I think I'd have to go all the way back to probably when I was a young teenager when I last cared at all about this holiday. I don't give out candy. I don't really get into that. I think it's a different age. I actually find the idea of trick-or-treating a little scary. I'm all for trunk and treat and indoor organized, sort of business-oriented trick-or-treating. I'm fine with that, but to go around to people's houses in your neighborhood and ask for candy, I don't know. I like to think it's just me being an adult and thinking beyond the candy, but you know how people can be. A lot of sickos out there, you gotta be careful. But today, as you see, I'm walking along a path at a park, and to be honest, I don't know if I've ever shot a video here before. This is Hamilton Park. As you can see in front of me, there are a couple baseball diamonds. They use this for wildcat baseball, which, sometimes when I do summertime walks here, kind of hang around, watch the kids play baseball. It's pretty fun. But this is the park I go to. I think it's probably the easiest one for me to get to when I play pickleball outside. And that is my preferred way to play. For the longest time, I was an indoor guy. But I don't know. I like the breeze. I like the sun. I like the atmosphere of the park. This is a nice little neighborhood park. Many years ago, when I was just a little kid, my grandparents lived very close to here. And when I was watched by my grandma during summer vacation, she would bring me over to this park, do some arts and crafts, play some games, shoot basketball, whatever. So this particular park has a very special place in my heart. And I'm happy to be here today on like I said, it's cold, but I'm okay with it today. I think I'll be working up a lot of good heat. So, at the time of me taking this video, the previous episode has not been uploaded. A couple of reasons for that. It's kind of an oddball one. You'll see why when I get it up there. And I think I'll leave the the video to speak for itself if you decide to watch it. But focusing on this one, a couple of bits of news in the WNBA that are worth note. First one, if you are the type who likes to view the ladies of the league as picturesque, as models of athleticism and that sort of physical beauty, apparently Napheesa Collier is on the cover of Glamour magazine. Now, I heard this from my wife. She reminded me of this after catching a newsreel or something about it. I had no clue. A couple reasons for that. I don't really follow Glamour magazine. And two, I don't follow NBA related feeds or sports feeds that would even bother putting that in there. And it's no real it's not negative commentary against her. I just have trouble, and I've talked about this a few other times in previous episodes, about how the ladies are viewed. And for me, being a guy, yeah, she's very attractive. All right. But I like her in her gear. I don't want to see her dolled up, excessive makeup. extravagant, fashionable. That's just not really the Napheesa I like. I would rather see her in her gear or just lounging around in sweats and a sweater, something like that. Very natural. The more dolled up someone gets, the less I'm interested, I think. And it's doubly sure for sports, because if you think about it, the players you enjoy, male or female, it doesn't make a difference. You get so used to seeing them in their gear that it's weird to see them in street gear, street clothes, things like that. And for the guys, it's a little different. T-shirt, jeans, whatever. But for the ladies, the world they've kind of created for themselves, one of kind of an infighting, competitive spirit, they're going to dress it up. And I think the league and the social media purveyors for the league have really pushed that along. I never really heard the word fits used in the sense of it being short for outfits. But here we go. Spent all season hearing about Brianna Stewart wearing this, and here come the stud buds wearing this and that, and walking in the back of the arena, heading towards the locker rooms, and let's get some cameras out there to see how they're doing. Well, I don't really care. Might be a faint interest, I guess, but it's mainly because I like the people and not what they're wearing. Because I think the bigger story for me is, what do I want this league to be? Do I want it to be just a pale kind of fragment of what the NBA can provide? No, not really. I think it should be a legitimate league. I think they should be treated with respect, and everything that athletes should be given. That includes pay, it includes the perks and the bonuses of being a athletic celebrity, you might say. But I think the more that we focus on what the women look like and how they behave, I think the bigger trouble will be for that league to really take off, because it'll be taken as a shallow measure. I'm going to stop here. A lot of these paths have kind of painted things that kids have done to make the trail a little more interesting. This is a very small loop. I'll be done with this in probably a good 5 minutes or so. So I'll probably be doing a couple different loops just to keep things going here, discussion-wise. But back to Napheesa and glamour and fits and the league's view of the women. I think time will tell whether the sport itself, women's basketball, truly takes off in the way they want it to. Segueing from the image of the women to a bigger problem that's going on right now, because I think there is a segue here. If you've been paying attention, today was the last day for the CBA talks. This was the last day to decide whether there's going to be a season for 2026, or there's just going to be more growling and biting and clawing between the Players Association and the league itself. And that includes Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA. But what happened was they got an extension. So instead of maybe tomorrow waking up to hear, hey, no season for the WNBA in 2026, we now have a 30-day extension. That's right, we're going to go until November 30th for talks to get this stuff taken care of. And I'm really starting to get tired. And I'm taking the side of the league, I feel, not so much the players. Here's why. And I've talked about this before, but I want to kind of put a cap on it. Hopefully, in time, we'll hear a good good argument from the players, because right now I don't think there is one. I don't like the idea, and it really started back when I was a big detractor. Let's put it that way. When I really didn't like the league, I'm going to walk this way. Let me get off the trail for a second. If you recall back, probably episode 1, somewhere within the first 5 episodes, I recounted my time as a hater of the league. But some of the things I came across had really moved me in that direction. And then how I eventually turned my view around to become a supporter of both the league and the players. And when I mean the players, that's kind of my shorthand for the association. The WNBPA, I guess. Think NECA Agumake. So when Brianna Stewart and a few other players were getting on media, talking about how they wanted more money, they want higher pay, relative to that of the NBAers, a lot of people just really shut down their argument. It wasn't sound. Yeah, there's a wage gap, but that's because there's a revenue gap. They knew that. They still want to make the argument. Here's the courts I play on. When people come outside, it's not going to be for a while. Probably next April, May. There's this little playground here. That little one right there with the yellow kind of contraption. That wasn't there when I was a kid. This is all pretty much new within the past, 15 years or so. This court, seen better days, used to be a basketball court here. In fact, right here, there used to be a basketball rim, and this is where I learned to tie my shoes. Sounds kind of weird, but my grandma took me here one day, and she said, well, if you can tie your shoes, I will get you a copy of Donkey Kong for the Atari. And I was excited because the Atari was like a huge thing for me as a kid. If you don't know what it was one of the earliest home video game systems, cartridge-based. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the earliest. So I practiced a lot, and I eventually got my shoes tied. But I told her, and I'm bringing this up now, is because I didn't want to tie my shoes to get that game. I just wanted to make a basketball shot. Good gracious. I don't know if you heard that, but... Oh, do you see that? So there's a red car over here. It's making a lot of noise. It's terrible noise. The cops pulled him over. I'm gonna walk back this way because I'm curious. But anyways, never know what we might find around here. But anyways, this location, this playground, very important to me. Great memories. I was very, very fond of spending time with my grandparents. Both of them, of course, are passed. If they had stayed alive, they would be in their deep 90s at this point, which in some cases are ages that are doable, but they unfortunately did not make it that far in their life. But they impressed me quite a bit. A lot of who I am as a person is thanks to them in the positive. There's a little white house over here. I don't know if you can see it beyond the pavilion over there. There's a white house. That's where they lived before moving on. I'm walking near what's going on over there. I think I might park myself down over here on this bench. And sorry for the silence. I'm kind of transfixed on the cops over there. But anyways, I love this place. It's actually a pretty good neighborhood. Used to go to school around here too. But anyways, back to this stuff. So, pay gap, revenue gap. The ladies have changed their tune. They said they want more of a piece of the pie, as they put it. All right. Well, apparently, during the CBA talks, they said that the players would be getting a lot more money, bigger paychecks. In fact, from the way it sounds, and I wish I had the numbers with me. I don't have any sort of notes with me. But the amount of pay that they would be getting, the increase in pay, comparable to you or I, just as regular folk, the low-hanging fruit, the scum of the earth versus the celebrity athlete, that translates to us as like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's amazing. But they don't want that. They don't want just a pay raise. They want an entire cultural change. In other words, they're demanding a revolution. And as much as I love that league, it's not happening. It's not going to happen at all. Because the problem is, no matter how much money they want, and really no matter how much money they get, they still need eyes. And that's ultimately the problem. That league, for a long time, had no eyes on them. Only the absolute devotee, the absolute women's basketball fan would watch that league. And if you ask those women, as good basketball athletes back then, years ago, let's go back 15, 20 years, you ask them, hey, you're a young league, not turning a profit. You're not really a major blip on the radar of professional sports. If we could change that by adding one transcendent player to pull in eyes, just one particular player, and that player would get you a lot more attention, potentially a lot more money, more prestige, more nationwide network exposure, would you go for it? And I think a lot of them would say yeah. They would say yeah. If it means us getting more money, getting more attention, getting more notoriety for what we do, acceptance, acknowledgement, respect for what we do versus the men, absolutely. And that's what they got. They got that just a couple years ago in the form of Caitlin Clark. But what did they do immediately when she arrived? Well, the league split itself in half. One half says, all right, excellent. We understand what she does for the league. She is the tide that raises all ships. Operative word, all. The other half says, wait a minute. This girl from Iowa, who kind of doesn't really represent us, if you know what I mean. She's the transcendence that will lift this league into the modern age to where we can actually make profit rather than lose it. Well, we don't like that. She's got to be one of us. And then it all fell apart. WNBA, in spite of that, gained momentum, riding it pretty high. Right out the gate, in fact. Caitlin took that momentum from the NCAA tournament right into the league. And then came the Olympics. Okay, here's the chance for the league to take her and put her on the main stage, and no. They decide, nope, we're not doing that. You got to give that chance to Diana Taurasi. She needs 6 gold medals. I've barked about that before, and it's still under my craw. when I hear about CBA talks. So I apologize for bringing it up again, but it's key here. So they keep her off the team, giving us a stupid reason as to why she couldn't be on the team. Then we go have a season. Liberty wins the championship. All right, nice job, New York. Next season comes. Go through another season. Indiana is just injury prone. Virtually entire team on the bench because of a variety of problems. Caitlin becomes almost like a spiritual coach on the sideline there, pepping up her team, clapping, motivating folks, doing what you do as a leader of a team. That's pretty cool. So during this, more eyes on the league, we start seeing, signs of justice come up in the form of t-shirts. Pay us what you owe us. You need to pay us more money. Okay. Let's say that's true. Let's say the piece of the pie they're looking for is fair, which, okay, I agree. So they threaten to stall. They threaten to hold out for 2026. They threaten to completely halt the momentum of the two new expansion teams coming out in 2026. Why? Because they want more money. Well, the league says, we'll give you more money. Players go, you know what? Yeah, not good enough. We want not just money, we want everything. We want you to change everything so that we have a revolution in this league to where there is just as many eyes on us as there are the NBA. So we're going to hold out. And I'll tell you this, those players are damn lucky that they got the extension. I'll tell you this much. If they don't figure this out in 30 days, they're not going to have a season. And according to some, they're fine with that. Take, for example, Sophie Cunningham. In every other aspect, I like her, but this, I think she's wrong. I don't think you take the momentum, which the league has never had outside of the first season, which dwindled fast. I don't think taking that momentum and driving it into the ground and stomping all over it because you are petty, rather stingy, and greedy all at the same time. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you baby step this forward. You don't go from being a losing league profit-wise to being just a big success because all of a sudden you've got this business acumen enough to say, yeah, we're going to hold out. We're going to gamble with this. That offer you've given us is not good enough. We're going to take those fans we just got, the ones who raced out to get those Caitlin Clark t-shirts, jerseys, those little girls who feel, hey, here's someone I can kind of connect with. She seems nice. I'll watch the league. And you're going to tell them no because you want more money. And it's not even a piece of the pie. You want the whole damn dessert. Shame on you. You walk this forward. You don't rush it. That's exactly what you're doing. I think it's stupid. And if in this 30 days you don't get it right, you don't deserve to come back next season. I will take the next, 150, 200 players who have not made the league, put them in. Let's have a replacement season. Pay them exactly what the players are making now, while these folks like Sophie can sit out and moan and cry about money and see what happens. They better be thanking Napheesa for creating Unrivaled, which, by the way, full roster reveal in just a few days. If you're interested. New teams, new coaches. Dominique's in. I'm excited about that. I like Dominique. But ladies, for the sake of your league, you really shouldn't be playing this close to the fire. What else is going on? Well, not much. Not much at all. I am excited. I do like Unrivaled. I do like the format. I like the 3-on-3. I think it's the right size of on-court team that they could do. I think it's the right configuration. Opens up the court a little more. Reduces the physical play quite a bit, because now you have actual lanes to drive in and not collapse as soon as you get to the defense. More ideas of how to isolate, play one-on-one a little more. By the way, it was a great idea, the one-on-one tournament. Fantastic. I love to watch that. Courtney against Napheesa. I said that before. That's cool. A lot of fun. Unrivaled gets it right. And I hope they do well. The WNBA. You'd think they were playing with like a massive lead. Like they had the edge here. They don't. They don't at all. No matter how much I love those women, no matter how much I love watching them play, no matter how much I've become disenfranchised with the NBA and have switched happily to the women's equivalent, I'm rather ticked off at the players. Not all of them, but those with the power to say no, those with the loudest voices, I don't know if I want to hear. And that's a problem. Who out there has the guts to say, look, ladies, I want to play basketball. I've invested myself in my life, the WNBA, and I feel thankful for that. I want to play. Let's take what we can get. Nope. Have you heard anybody? Have you heard anyone say anything even remotely gracious about their time in the NBA, or the WNBA, I should say? Or is it all negative? I would not be surprised if it's all negative. I would not be surprised if you do a quick Google search for WNBA. I would not be surprised if you found nothing but negative CBA talk, crying, moaning, and another word I'm not going to use, about money. There is absolutely no perspective on that argument other than we're just greedy. We want more. Whatever you give us, it's not good enough. We think we deserve more. And that's the other word too. Pay us what you owe us. We deserve more. No, you think you deserve more. I'm more than willing to say, look, you have a transcendent player. You have another one in Paige Beckers. There are more eyes on your league. Yeah, adjust that pay to fit the momentum. But if you overdo it, you're going to lose that league. And that sucks. It really does. Sun's coming out. I must have made a good point. I hope in the next 30 days, cooler heads prevail, the thinkers prevail, and I get to look forward to a 2026 season. We all get to. Right now it looks bleak. It feels cold. Like today. I'm still looking over here to see if that cop is hanging around. Just kind of walking the courts. I miss playing. I like the game quite a bit, and I've liked it, over, probably 12 years now. Who knows? But everyone transferred over to the indoor arena, so to speak. Not a fan of it. Don't like paying that much money to play pickleball, for crying out loud. I bought my paddle and ball. What else do I need? But everyone transferred, even in the summertime. Oh, it's too hot. Too windy. I don't like the sun in my eyes, while they all wear sunglasses. Jeez. Pick a complaint. Stick with it. Now the cop is gone. The person who is whatever the heck their car was doing, hopefully it took care of it. I'm debating on whether to go find that Glamour magazine. I'm not going to lie. I'm not interested, but I want to know, because I have a guess. Napheesa is a natural beauty. She really is. She looks great in a jersey, looks great in her normal clothes. She's not dressing up. When she's just being mom, excellent. Beautiful. I am willing to bet, considering the magazine, considering the word glamour, they have completely ruined her. They've completely taken all natural beauty away, replaced it with this, I'll call it an ideal. Not my ideal. My ideal is just someone natural, the brain and a sense of humor. How about that? How about that for beauty? Is that a bad beauty standard? To have something between your ears? To be funny? To have a good personality? Caring? Kind? To me, nothing beats Bridget, but to see Napheesa on the cover of a glam magazine, it doesn't resonate with me. But I'm still curious. Not going to buy it. But I'm curious nonetheless. So I think as I wrap this up, because I got to pee, and there's no room for video in there, I'm thinking about what I could do this weekend. I know I got to get that other video put up. That's a nice little stick there. I don't know why I like that stick. Odd. There it goes. All right. I'm thinking about maybe doing another video. There's a park downtown that I haven't been to yet. Looking forward to going there. It's one of our brand new parks. I have not shot any video down there. In fact, I haven't done anything downtown amongst or at least within the social aspect of the streets and the cars and the wanderers and all that stuff. Because this park is kind of tucked away by the river. And I did a little bit of magnet fishing down there once. Pulled out a chair because we had flooding. That park is prone to flooding, even though it's brand new, and I thought they would get that taken care of. They did not. And you'll see what I mean. So until that video comes out, have a good, safe Halloween. You and your kids, if you have kids. Be careful. It's a mad, mad world out there. Take care. Bye-bye.